Hello, this is Joyce, Margaret, Mia, and Rachel, and today we will be analyzing the operations management of Costa Cafe, and specifically the Costa located in City University.
As it is located on university campus, this Costa has smaller size with lower price. But it has the advantage of having constant flow of customers from the university. However, it still has competition. We identified that this Costa competes more strongly with coffee sold at the canteens, which has similar competitive nature in price, flexibility, and location. So in our presentation, we will focus on how to have this Costa to win the competition.
Firstly, we will look at the operation strategy of this Costa. Looking at the process tab of this Costa, it provides a mass service tab, where the process is very similar for each order and very repetitive. It's also very predictable because a small menu is available. And to match with this process tab, it has a continuous line layout that fits to its character of high volume, low variety, and a relatively small space. Also, due to a smaller space, the capacity of this Costa is smaller, and it uses chase demand plan to maximize its ability to meet the demand. There is fluctuation in demand depending on time, so one can see staffs transferring between jobs in rush hour. Finally, we measure the relative importance of competitive priority to its operation objectives. Looking at its competitive nature, because the canteen offers the same price for similar food, for this Costa, the qualifying factor would be the quality of its drinks and food, while the order winning factor is its speed.
However, for regular customers, it is not hard to notice that there is always long line forming in this Costa shop. So we identify that the main challenge for the City University Costa is to find solutions not only towards a faster process, but also ones that make the indecisive customers stay in the queue. We conducted research in the shop, and from the research we found that for a line of 5 with 2 staffs working in the station, the average throughput time is 4 minutes and 2 seconds, which if put into a Little's Law, would yield an average cycle time of 48.4 seconds. However, from our own measurement of the cycle time, we realized that there is a very huge time difference. It could be as fast as 8 seconds, while it could take as long as 2 minutes, and the longer cycle time is oftentimes due to cash or signed card payment and complicated orders on food and drinks. This finding let us realize the existence of a bottleneck that would delay the entire continuous line in the process flow. Through our observation in the store, there are 2 kinds of scenarios that address this problem. Firstly, let's say there are 2 staffs, one making orders and one at the cash register. However, food orders are normally made at the cashier. This not only causes confusion at the cash register, but also often drives the cashier away from checking out to heat a sandwich or to verify if the coffee that's made is paid or not. And secondly, we noticed the inconsistencies in the cash checking rate and hot drinks making rate cause problems too. When the cashier is slower than the coffee making speed, drinks pile up at the cashier with confusion to the point that the cashier has to ask the coffee making staff to stop, which leads to some idling time in the station while the queue is still long. On the other hand, when the coffee making process is longer, customers pile up in front of the cashier, which makes the queue look longer than it actually is and could be very intimidating for potential customers walking by. We also noticed that when the drinks making staff is busy, the cashier will stop the checkout process to tidy up the shelves without knowing that they are creating the bottleneck. Overall, our research found that the 2 main sources of bottleneck are the unclear roles of the employees and the varying cycle times.
There are many implications of the bottleneck issue on Costa's operations, mostly that it creates a delay in the process. The delay causes the queue to grow rapidly, causing a large number of queuing problems. The biggest implication of this is on the external customer and the efficiency of Costa. When external customers walk past the school Costa and see a long queue to get coffee, a large number of them will reject the line and go to a different coffee shop, most likely the canteen. Similarly, after waiting a while in line without being served, some customers become impatient and leave the queue, reneging it. This not only causes issues with the external customer, but also creates capacity issues for Costa because the customer that left the line had used up some space in the process. Not only does the bottleneck issue cause the external customer to become impatient and shop elsewhere, but it also creates idle time for one of the employees, the coffee maker. Because the cashier is slow, the coffee maker often has to wait for the queue to move forward before serving another customer. This low utilization of the internal customers causes the overall coffee making process to become highly inefficient. Overall, Costa loses out on revenues because of the bottleneck issue, and therefore must focus on fixing this issue, decreasing the cycle time and the queue buildup, and improving their efficiency to remain competitive.